We're going to begin with the breaking news. With millions of Americans on the move tonight, health experts worry what is usually one of the country's biggest nights for travel may also become one of its most dangerous. As we come on the air tonight, one doctor is warning Thanksgiving will become the mother of all super spreader events as people let down their guard and their masks. But even before Americans gather around the table tomorrow, the rate of new cases of coronavirus is growing astronomically tonight. 2.3 million people have been infected nationwide in just the past 2 weeks. And more than 2,000 have been reported dead in the past 24 hours. That's the highest single-day death toll in more than 6 months. Late today, President-elect Joe Biden called on weary Americans to wear masks and not surrender to fatigue, saying, "We're at war with the virus, not with each other." So there is a lot of new reporting for you and your family tonight, including the latest holiday forecast. And our team is standing by to cover it all. CBS's Kris Van Cleave is going to lead us off tonight from Reagan National Airport. Good evening, Kris.
Margaret, we hit a pandemic high at airport checkpoints like the one behind me here on Sunday. Since then, Monday and Tuesday, those numbers have ticked down a bit, but the expectation is still up to 50 million Americans will take to the roads or the skies to travel for Thanksgiving, and that is exactly what the CDC is urging people not to do.
Some of the longest lines of the pandemic at Seattle's airport, a sign of Americans on the move tonight, despite blunt warnings from public health officials again pleading for people to stay home this Thanksgiving.
By making that sacrifice, you're going to prevent people from getting infected.
But millions are going anyway. Romeo Garcia left Maryland this afternoon for his parents in Greenville, North Carolina.
The holidays are really the only times where I could be able to see my family.
Do you worry at all about bringing the coronavirus home with you?
Not at all. I've been tested. I'm negative.
But that wasn't enough for Tom Wilson. He made the agonizing decision not to spend Thanksgiving with his family.
It just seemed like a risk that wasn't worth taking.
Trying to stop out-of-control spread, there's a growing patchwork of restrictions in cities and states. 14 states and Washington, D.C. call for mandatory testing or of quarantine requirements for travelers. New York City police are setting up checkpoints at bridges and tunnels, and Maryland state troopers are checking if bars and restaurants are following the rules. A stay-at-home advisory is now in place in Pennsylvania, and tonight, a Thanksgiving booze ban at bars and restaurants. In L.A., outdoor dining shuts down tonight. From coast to coast, governors and mayors are practically begging people not to gather.
Don't make it harder on those frontline workers.
To act like it's a normal Thanksgiving is to deny reality.
We are extremely concerned about Thanksgiving weekend becoming a super spreader event.
Small gatherings are now a major driver of the virus spread.
Now I'm in the hospital and can't see my family.
15 members of a Texas family contracted COVID at a birthday lunch. They made this emotional plea.
Please, don't be like my family and ignore the CDC guidelines.
But relief for a COVID-weary nation could be just months away. Operation Warp Speed expects up to 110 million Americans, 1/3 of the country, to be vaccinated by February.
Now, the U.S. population as a whole should be covered in terms of vaccine doses available somewhere between the month of May and the month of December.
Help cannot come soon enough for millions struggling to find enough to eat. A familiar scene played out in Houston, a long line of cars picking up food for the holiday, thankful just to have a meal. And flyers arriving in Los Angeles tonight are being greeted with a new health declaration form they have to fill out that reminds them to quarantine for 14 days. And in Oregon, the governor is encouraging people to call the police if they see COVID restriction violators. Margaret?
Kris Van Cleave. We'll see if it works.